Good morning to all of you. 1,320,000. Today this number worth 1,000 words. It is an immense value, real solidarity, a strong legitimacy, and a huge responsibility. It is the largest task the FUEN ever undertook, and we completed this task with success. We have gained valuable partners and supporters without whom we could not have secured the necessary 1 million signatures or the threshold in 7 member states. I always remember the days and weeks of February and March and the excitement of that period when it seemed that we also had lose. But in the end, all the smart planning and the wonderful team have had their results. And we can say today that our organization had never had such an immense success. Yet we have to stay focused. The true result and the true successes will come when there will be the EU-level legislative framework for the protection of autochthonous traditional minorities, their cultures and languages. Mayor Fred Krohne, Ambassador Paul Becker, Special Rapporteur Fernand de Varenne, Ambassador Kocsis András, Government Commissioner Ben Fabricius, Commissioner Johannes Carlsen, dear members of Parliament, dear guests, dear presidents of member organizations, dear delegates, dear FUEN Presidium, and dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to welcome you all at the 63rd FUEN Congress in Leeuwarden, Leeuwarden. I try to have a proper pronunciation of these two names. In my defense, the name of the city and its pronunciation has changed quite a few times. It must be a world record that during history, the name of the city has been written down and spelled in 225 different ways. So in the first 2 decades of the 16th century, for example, the spelling of the city's name changed almost every other year. It was a complex situation at best. The city and the region are bilingual and bicultural today, West Frisian and Dutch. The name of the region, Friesland, has its own history. In 1996, the states of Friesland decided that the official name of the province should follow the West Frisian spelling rather than the Dutch one. So in 2004, the Dutch government confirmed this resolution, putting in place a 3-year plan to oversee the name changes. So this in itself is a European success story about respecting a community and their language. All national minorities in Europe desire such a respect for the name of their region, and they wish that this name in minority language would be recognized and used in the official language as well. I thank Mayor Fred Krohne for his kind words. We are looking forward to discover your city in the next days. I thank our host, the Council of the Frisian Movement, President Geert Benedictus, and our good FUEN friend Pierre Bergsma, for bringing this Congress to their home region and for being such a gracious host. Today we will talk more about pressing matters. Tomorrow we will have the chance to explore the West Frisian culture, and on Saturday, according to our tradition, our Assembly of Delegates will take place, so I hope you will all have a great time in these few days in Friesland. Dear guests, dear delegates, I take this opportunity and thank each and every European citizen who signed the Minority Safepack Initiative. For the first time, autochthonous national minorities in Europe have decided to act together. We have created a European movement for minority rights, larger than our initiative and larger than the FUEN as organization. We created a project of hope for the unrecognized minority communities and an opportunity for the non-kin state groups as well. Our Citizens Initiative is a grassroots movement which urges the EU to put minority protection on its agenda. we aim to create an EU-level legislative framework to protect minorities and the language groups. We will work together with legal experts as we intend to lay down our basis for this framework. Following the successful campaign, now we have to return to our original thoughts. The Minority Safepack initiative, apart from being the legal instrument, is also a proposal. It is a proposal made by the autochthonous national minorities to Europe. Today, this initiative carries the clear and strong message of over 1 million European citizens. The issues of autochthonous national minorities cannot be swept under the rug. The role of the national parliaments, governments and diplomacy will become increasingly important in the upcoming period. Our goal is to present the initiative to the national governments and parliaments and to remind them that guaranteeing the protection of minority rights will take nothing away from the majority communities. On the contrary, it will help strengthen fundamental European values and it will make the continent richer. It was strange enough for me to discover during my visits in Europe that people from the majority were not aware that the European Union has no legislation regarding the protection of autochthonous minorities. These citizens think that it is natural for the EU to adopt a legislative framework for the protection of the 50 million minority Europeans. This is why we have to repeatedly and strongly say that the Minority Safepack initiative is a proposal for partnership. For that reason, I propose today a pact between the minorities and majorities. We know we make Europe richer and we want the recognition and the support for that from the majority. We wish to create favorable conditions for linguistic and cultural diversity to thrive, to preserve and promote the identity of the minority communities, to stop their assimilation, to make them feel entirely at home on their territory where they have been living traditionally, to have a say in decisions that affect their lives, and to exercise autonomously their cultural, educational, and linguistic rights. The validation certificates from the member states started to arrive one after the other, and I am confident that by the beginning of August, we will have the official confirmation from the national authorities. Afterwards, from the European Commission, we need more than yet another bureaucratic step as a response to the partnership proposal within the Minority Safepack initiative. In the past years, we have conducted several risk assessments. We have assessed the attitude of the European Commission, the governments and parliaments, and the European Parliament could have towards our initiative, and the result was neither reassuring nor satisfying. It is thus not enough that we hand over the validated signatures and our set of proposals to the Commission, checking the last legal step of this process. Before we do this, we need to have reassurances that our goal, protecting autonomous minority rights via legal acts, is achievable, and that our request will be welcomed and will not end up being the footnote on some policy paper. Therefore, the FUEN asks the European Commission to start a dialogue on the content of legal acts for minorities. If the European Commission supports us, then we will make a step forward and we shall submit the signed statements of support in autumn. Should we not get a positive response, we will have to wait for the upcoming European elections and the establishment of the new and hopefully more favorable European Commission and European Parliament. The regulation of the Citizens' Initiative allows us to do this. It is obvious that we will not be able to have a breakthrough unless we can achieve a cross-party support in Europe. In the upcoming months, and especially in the European election period, we will need from the European and national parties and candidates commitment for political action. These 1,320,000 statements of support mean that we have a responsibility to consider. Obviously, we wish to accomplish as much as possible, as soon as possible, but we have to see if we don't have good odds for the creation of meaningful legal acts, then we have to be brave and wait with the submission of the signatures. So now I ask you on behalf of the FUEN Trust that together with the Citizens Committee and the FUEN Presidium, we will make the best strategic decisions in the upcoming months about the future step of our Minority Safepack initiative. We will soon have the opportunity to talk more about this issue in the upcoming panel, and I will also ask the Assembly of Delegates for confirmation. Meanwhile, we will bravely face arguments such as the one of the Foreign Affairs of Romania that has made it says basically that Romania only opposes the Minority Safepack initiative because minority protection falls outside the EU competencies. We know that our initiative respects the competencies, but we know that generally minority protection is not an EU competence. But then let's make it one. Instead of combating it, let's support it together. The partners that work together with us in our journey are far more valuable than our enemies, because we had regions, parties, leaders and politicians on our side, in Austria, in South Tyrol, in many lands in Germany, and in Hungary. The petition became a matter of cross-party cooperation, supported by every political party. Together we have made the European minority protection a cause. It is not a small success that our is the 5th citizens' initiative that have gathered the necessary statements of support, the first to win in the court and the first to negotiate the registration with the European Commission. So together we won, step by step, the yearly and successful campaign in Romania, led by the RMDS, the minority party of Hungarians in Romania, which showed that it's possible to gather 250,000 signatures. Then the active engagement of Hungarians in Slovakia was also an example to follow. We won in Denmark, the 7th state where we have reached the national threshold. We have won in Spain, in Basque Country and in Catalonia, where we have met communities who understood our initiative and found it important from their own perspective. Even though large communities, they cannot use their mother tongues in the EU. In Italy, South Tyrol, we witnessed a phenomenal campaign in the finish line. In Hungary, where minority protection became an issue of national solidarity, and only the deadline of the petition campaign could stop people from signing even more statements of support and join our European cause. I would like to thank the Turkish and Roma youth from Bulgaria for their work, the Polish community in Lithuania for their unexpected and wide support. We have brought new regions into the spotlight. As we saw the fight of the Russian minority in Latvia, it needed to be repeatedly and clearly stated that the complex geopolitical context does not make anti-minority measures or minority rights infringement acceptable. In Croatia and Slovenia, support and openness in the midst of the majority community as well was reassuring. They have set an example for majority from other states as well. Dear friends, dear colleagues, we have to face the shortcoming the petition campaign has revealed to us. In a very short period of time, the FUEN has grown a lot. It has become a professional team that, through perseverance and commitment, has handled things admirably in the past year. The campaign coordination team from Transylvania has brought the necessary expertise and flexibility to the table. They all have worked hard, more than 8 hours a day and more than 5 days a week. I thank you all. In the upcoming period, together with the members of the Presidium, we wish to make the work of the FUEN more predictable, more balanced and more consolidated. Our goal is to maintain the successful management and decision-making practice for which we have had plenty of positive feedback. During the petition campaign, we have seen some of our member organizations struggle when they were asked with responsibilities other of what they were used to do. Some of them had not managed to get into the campaign mood. So these are lessons learned that we must and will draw conclusions from. In the future, we will also need to be prepared to use the instruments of civil activism and better involve members of our communities. We plan on creating workshops and capacity building trainings for our member organizations where they can learn to develop, strengthen and their member base, better communicate and find new instruments and skills. The petition campaign would have been not enough. If the petition campaign would have been enough of a task for an organization for 1 year, but it was not by far all that we have done. We have continued several of our programs that have been successful in the past years, such as the Western Balkan project or the minorities in the Caucasus. We have launched 2 new projects, the Media Forum gathering representatives of minority media in Berlin, and the meeting of the minority and minority-friendly regions entitled Deeply Rooted in the Regions, organized in the European Committee of Regions. Land Schleswig-Holstein, Südtirol, Carinthia, Brandenburg and Saxony are our outstanding regional partners, and they have a lot to offer to our communities. Thanks for your support. The labor of our working groups has become more intense, and yet we have managed to find the energy to establish 2 new working groups, the non-kin state group and the education working group. Both were response to needs expressed over the past several years by our member organizations. You know that I believe one of the most important tasks of the FUEN is to be a service-based organization for its members. I have visited many of our member organizations and attended many events. I would like to thank you for having me. We have managed to form a stronger bond between the FUEN and many of its member organizations, and I have the confidence that I will have the chance to visit those organizations, which I have not had the opportunity to do so in the past years. Dear participants, every year the FUEN Congress is a live listing of the autochthonous national minorities and language groups of Europe. We evaluate our successes and our losses, and we prepare ourselves for the challenges that stand before us.